Hello YouTube, this is Homestead Steve. We're looking at a set of 406 heads. They'll fit on any FE motor, 390, 406, 352. My specific castings are C3AE 6090 Charlies, so you can see there. And then the other casting I have here is the exact same model, except they were sent off to Arkansas to Craft Performance Engines, and they did some CNC work, a little bit of bowl work on the chamber and the combustion chamber, and they put some bigger valves in it for me. So I'm going to show you the differences, compare the CNC machine work with the stock runners, so we can see the differences. So starting off, we have our regular 406 casting. This is the intake side, and get a closer look. Here's the intake runner. Got light shining in there, so you can see the intake runner. It's got a slight hump right there in the middle, and then down towards the bottom you can see that we have a pretty aggressive valve guide. And we'll look at the next chamber over. Fairly similar, pretty rough. It's usual for these type of castings. And then there's the last combustion chamber. Again, you can tell we got a pretty big valve guide there, and this chamber doesn't have the hump in it like the first two do. Now if we look at the Craft Performance CNC machine work, you can see that it's a lot smoother. They've actually reduced some of those humps down quite a bit. And if I can get a light in there, you can see the valve guide. They've profiled that, reduced it quite a bit as well. And that's going to help with some of the restriction we have in these. And there's the other runner. Again, reduced that hump quite a bit. Really clean, excellent work. Really pleased with the work they did. So that's our intake side. You can see the differences between the intake of the CNC machine and the intake of the regular casting. Next, as I rotate these heads over, I'm going to show you the difference in the combustion chambers and the valve bowls and the work they did there. So starting off here, you look down, let me get a little bit more light in there for you. There we go. You look down, you can see the valve guide in there pretty well. Takes up a lot of space. Not a very good transition from the valve bowl to the actual valve. Same on the exhaust side, a little bit small. This one, the valve guide's not nearly as intrusive as it is on the intake side. Now when we take a look at the machine work they did on the other heads, you can see they smoothed out the combustion chamber quite a bit. Looks really nice compared to, you know, your stock combustion chamber, just the regular cast surface. And then if we look down into the chambers, they did a really good job transitioning these bowls into the runners. And again, on the exhaust side, they opened it up for the larger valve, reduced the valve guide, again, to get a little bit extra flow in there. Excellent work. So from what I understand on FE heads is you get most of your performance gain when you're doing type of work like machine work to these around these transitions in the valve bowl area. The runners are typically large enough to have adequate airflow. It's usually the transition into the valves where you can see the most performance gain. So that's just what I heard. I don't know if there's any fact to it. Alright, I'm going to throw this valve back in. Here's the intake valve, and it is a 2.15 valve versus the stock 2.3 or 5, I can't remember, on the stock valve. So you can see pretty good size difference between the two intake valves. And then we look at the exhaust valve. This is just a regular stainless steel 428 exhaust valve, and I used to have the stock 390 exhaust valve. So it went from a 1.55 to a 1.65 exhaust valve. So I'm hoping to see some improvement with the valve size change. And to note, they did a really good job on my valves. If I can get them out. Sorry about that. you look at the valve, I don't know if you'll be able to focus in on it. They did like a 3-angle valve job on it. Very professional. Extremely happy with the work they performed on these. I'm not typically trusting of machine shops to work on any of my stuff, especially something as rare as these C3 castings. But I'm very happy with the work they did, and would definitely send another set to them for anybody that's looking to kind of keep a stock look but have a little bit added performance. Alright, I'm going to rotate these around so we get some sunlight in here and show you the difference between the exhaust runners and the regular castings. So this is stock castings. You can see, shine a little light in there, exhaust runner, got a pretty good hump right as it exits the exhaust, and that seems to be pretty consistent with all the chambers and runners. Get a better look at that one. And if we look at what they did on the CNC, get some light shining in there, they reduced the transition of the valve guide, and that hump is almost gone. They've just completely smoothed it out the best they can. So they told me they did a custom program for this because they haven't done a set of C3 heads before, and looks like they did an excellent job with that custom program they did in the CNC machine. Reduced that, and then again they did a pretty good job reducing the transition of the valve guide. Excellent work, and I think it's going to help out a lot on the motor. So that's kind of the general run of it. I intend to kind of keep a stock look for the motor I'm putting in my 63 Galaxy. I'll be putting in a 406 clone motor. I have a 428 block, just an industrial block or a irrigation block that I got. The bottom end was pretty much done on it, so I put a stroker in it, so it's going to go from your regular 428 stroke to a 4 1/4 stroke, which makes it a 456 with the standard 428 bore or 406 bore. They shared the same bore. And then I'm going to have my 406 heads here. They'll look completely stock on the outside, but I'll have a little bit of performance gains with the machine work they did on them and the larger valves. And then I'll have a little bit bigger cam in it, just because the motor's bigger. I'm putting in a comp cam in there. I'm keeping mine more, it's a solid lifter, but it's going to be more for low and mid-range because I'm never really at the high RPMs anyway. But I'm really pleased with the work that Craft Performance did on my heads. They did a nice job shipping them back to me. They got them done really quickly, easy to communicate with, knew exactly what I wanted, and they hit it right on the nose. Perfect machine work, exactly what I was expecting. So any of you guys looking to do something similar where you're looking to keep a stock look but have a little bit more performance gain in it, I definitely recommend having them work on your heads. And I believe they also have their own profiles for the Edelbrock heads if you're wanting to put aluminum heads that are pretty aggressive. They got some pretty good ones out there. So that's what we have. Hope to talk to you guys soon and show you the progress in the motors. I get ready to finish building it. We'll have a tri-power on it and the 406 shorty exhaust manifolds, so it'll be pretty cool. All right, bye.